Hey everyone, and welcome to another Bit Educational. This time again, we have another TI special for you. Since, TI is one of the greatest events and one of the best things to ever happen overall in Dota. I thought, why not give you, another TI special? We have a new patch that literally just came out, today we had like a small other one about Marcy, but you know, we'll get into the hero educationals again soon enough, so don't worry about that. But I wanted to show you guys another great example of a really good TI game where people make it really hard for you to close out the game, and also to show you the importance of buybacks. This was one of the games where I saw a 10-man buyback. Spoiler alert, it's going to be one of the main things we're going to talk about in this video. And second of all, just to show you how games can not only be won from like a standpoint where you're behind, but you can just make it so much harder for the enemy. And I want to put more emphasis on buybacks and why they're important, and overall just look at this game of T1 and LGD and explain some of the things that the teams did that was really good. So let's get right into it. Okay, so if we have a quick look at how this early game went between LGD and T1 is first of all they 5-man smoked, which is something that we do see more often in competitive games rather than, pub games. Dire were ready here with a 5-man stun, so you have like a bit of a skirmish going on. So this is something that you will never really see in your pub games, at least a 5-man smoke here. People do this to get out early wards, to, see the enemy's lanes, or to go on them, to like get a cheeky first blood, etc. Like here, LGD, they were very known for smoking out early to get a favorable mid ward for their mid laner. But what you can do in your pub games is that you can like move here or, and like have vision or fight on the rune together. And another thing that they did, which is somewhat underrated, is that Jin Q, so they have mid control, right, with this ward. Jin Q runs into the tower and he gets hit. Here, like he gets hit. So they know that, okay, there's vision here. Because the tower, if you're Radiant and you run into the tower range, the tower doesn't actually hit you because it doesn't see you. Therefore, they need to have a ward or a hero on this high ground with night vision, which they don't have. So they have a ward on this high ground. Not so now the smoke gave them a first blood. They got a good ward out, and now they even had all the mid control to deward this ward. So this was really good for them. Like this was really good for LGD. So we can skip a little bit through the lanes because this is not the most important stuff that we're going to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about nighttime and why this stuff is important. It's going to be one of the small other aspects and one of the early games rotations we're going to talk about. When you have a mid laner with these type of timings, like in this matchup, you have nothing to say who's winning mid pretty nicely against Carl. I think he started with first blood in the game, which is very big, and now he's level 6. Look where, so Snapfire regens and TP's mid. Why does he TP middle? He's not even refilling his bottle. The reason he's TPing mid is because they have such a strong timing around nighttime, and the first hero in the game getting an ultimate. When you play support or core, or generally speaking, when you're playing Dota, you want to play through your strong heroes. In this case, DP is currently the strongest hero on the map, so it makes a lot of sense for them to go mid and like help here. So what he does with his little shredder is that he staggers the minus armor as nicely as he can. I mean, he screwed up the last one, I think, but yeah. So he goes mid. He's gonna help with the strongest hero on the map. What this does is they bring one hero. They're forced to like bring two to try and delay this. But like, look what happens. They used their first exorcism and they took what 60% of the tower damage from the tower. Now Doom TP's back in. Both, like you can see, both teams have 3 heroes here because they know this is what has to happen. LGD want to pressure with their heroes, and T1 are like, okay, shit, we need to bring all our boys here to stop the pressure from happening. So a lot of pressure back and forth, active rune. This is something that we touched on in our other video as well with the Bitucational, where active runes are really important, and this is something that you guys should think about more often and try to play around. After the mid play is gone, they're gonna try to rotate the heroes together. They gather up in the top lane, Faith, Bian, and Shinkyu. But again, T1 with some good map rotations as well from their supports, they try to do a similar thing, and they just mirror the movement from LGD in this case. But okay, so here we can skip ahead again. Let's look at the 8-minute rune. They play together. Snapfire is coming around. ET is mid. They're dewarding mid wards. Both teams, again, 3 mid, 3 versus 3. As you can see, both teams put a lot of emphasis on it. Now this time, they actually go top because the mid tower is already very low. You don't really want to exit for this tower. So they go top. They want to pressure, not only pressure this tower, but try to force the Medusa to get out of the top lane. They barely missed the kill, but still, they forced the Medusa to TP out, and now they try to pressure the tower. But look what T1 do. They play this very nicely. They're gonna look to like delay it. They bring over a few heroes, and even if they don't score any kills right now, they would defend the tower. But let's see how it goes. They've waited out the whole duration of the exorcism. Now they go and fight. They're gonna kill their Earthshaker. 1 death. So now they traded Exo for Doom, 1 for 1, but they defended the tower. So both teams played that pretty well, you know, from their point of view. I think they did a lot of things that they like. Refill the bottle. They're rushing a Midas on Doom. And now the story for Dire is that they just want to farm. They have Magnus, who, you know, just wants to empower his carry and farm. They have Doom with Midas Devour. And they have a Medusa, who's also just going to hit creeps. And you can see in the meantime, LGD, they're just trying to play this game like really fast and speed up the game, right? Like they're trying to go mid. They even bring their TB. They try to push mid tower. They will eventually get it. Like they even brought their hard carry into this play with a Falcon Blade and a Blade of Alacrity. There aren't many carries that you would see do this. But okay, let's skip to the main highlight, or let's get closer to the main highlight of the game. Yeah, so it's gonna be now. So of course, there's a lot of other things that happen in this game, which we will most likely go over in the future at some point. But right now, one of the most important things that I wanted to show you guys was the early game of this game, with some of the rotations, you know, how some lineups functions, where you want to move together, why is it important to go for this mid tower, who do you want to play through, active runes, stuff like this. But most importantly now, what I want to show you guys is a specific fight in this game where LGD are down 32k gold. 32k gold. When you're this far behind, you need to be really creative or understand like how to win. Currently, Roshan is not available for either team, and even though LGD are so far behind, they try to wait for a good timing. Like here. They're gonna kill this wave. They got this out quite nicely, given the position they're in. Ame is pushing out top as much as he can. Oh, that was an illusion. But okay, look, bottom is pushed, mid is as far as they can get it, and they try to seek the best opportunity for themselves. Now, they're gonna go very deep, and they even have 2 wards from earlier that they can maybe play off of. They pushed in top a little bit, now they're gonna send an illusion top, and now they have top pushing in slightly, bottom. Mid isn't in the best spot, but anyway. So LGD take somewhat of a calculated risk, let's call it that. So they find the Dawnbreaker out of the smoke, they're gonna go on him, and let's just pay attention to how this fight gets played out. T1 don't really have any vision of this. They trade BKBs on Doom and on DP. The TB is here. He uses meta and BKBs. He gets the BKB off on the, you know, on the Doom. Carl uses Refresher and gets the second Doom off on the Earthshaker. Now, nothing to say, pops his ulti, and let's see how the fight continues to play out. As you can see, LGD are moving in a unit, right, towards the left. That was a very nice RP here by Cuckoo. He lands it on 2. Everybody has a Refresher, another double stun. So Ame is still kiting on the left. His Doom is starting to run out, so he's going to start hitting the Lion. Lion goes. He gets Glimmered, he gets Invis. Dawnbreaker buys back. Dawn comes in with his buyback. Nothing to say is still alive on the upskirt of this fight, okay? Ame is fighting. He gets horn tossed by Cuckoo. He keeps fighting. No buyback has been used. Okay, 1 buyback has been used now on Radiant on the Earthshaker. 3 buybacks. 2 buybacks are used on Dire. Now 3. Now 4. 2 on Radiant, okay? They keep fighting. He gets off a really good Sunder on the Medusa. Trades a lot of his HP. Faith Beyond comes back from the bottom. In the meantime, let's break down the fight real quick. Whitemon came back into the fight and he gets off a ward now in the fight that is going to give really good vision to T1 if they continue to take the fight, you know, over this type of duration. LGD, on the other hand, they've already done this. You know, they were a little bit quicker on this. Because when you take these fights in these outskirts, especially in the nighttime, having vision is crucial. So Jin Q in the back gets off this ward, which, you know, they constantly see these heroes, makes it really easy for them to fight. Ame gets off this great Sunder. They see this TP in by Carl. Faith Beyond has already bought back. Y also bought back, but he is not able to join the fight. Whereas T1, their heroes buying back, they can TP on this outpost, which LGD cannot. But okay, let's continue the fight. So Ame already used his Thunder. He's about to lose his first life. Fabian just bought back. Kind of echoes the ground, so doesn't look that great for him. He gets off the Fey Grenade onto Medusa. Okay, now Medusa dies. So let's recap. Dire have already bought back 1, 2, 3, 4 heroes. They are the team that is 30k gold down, and they've bought back 4 heroes for this fight. Ame instantly decides to buy back because he knows, okay, 4 of these heroes have bought back. If I get back into this fight and they die again, we've actually won, even though we're 20k gold behind right now. So let's see how the fight pans out. So Carl still doesn't have BKB available on the Doom here, okay? So he has no buyback available. This would be a dieback if he were to die. So Jinkyu dies, he also buys back. And now the fight gets a little bit reset, okay? Like LGD are trying to bait back towards their TB, who's coming, and Jinkyu, who also bought back, who has a refresher orb. Carl jumps back in, he's gonna go on nothing to say, AK gold, he dies, he's gonna buy back. So now, effectively, 10 heroes in this game, 10. 10 heroes have bought back and are now back to life. Any hero who dies now is going to be dead for 2.5 minutes, and it could put your team in a really shitty position. If 2 heroes die from either team, the game is practically over just about right now. So, let's see how the fight continues. Nothing to say, he has bots level 2, he TPs back in. Fabian, he's on the outskirts, doesn't have too much mana though. He's gonna have one Fisher to work with. So what they could try to do here is Fisher off the Medusa. They slightly fail it, but I think even so, I don't know if they could commit for him here. So, 10 heroes buyback. I have never seen a 10 hero buyback where after that nobody dies. So now, why are these buybacks so crucial? Okay, let's go back to right before the fight. If some of these dire heroes do not have buybacks, the Radiant team could put themselves in such a winning position. It's actually crazy. So remember that LGD are the team that are 30,000 gold down in this game. But they find this crucial smoke on this Dawnbreaker who dies first. Okay? The only reason that Carl is even able or potentially allowed to do the play he's doing is because the Dawnbreaker does have buyback with his Solar Guardian and Aghanims to come back into the fight, right? Otherwise, this wouldn't even make sense. So they continue to play. So the only reason that they're even able to take these fights and continue with this is because they have these buybacks, right? Because otherwise they just have to back the hell off, or they could even lose the game. And look how nicely LGD are playing this fight. Ame runs to the left, he kites out the Doom. Once it starts getting to like 3 to 5 seconds left, he starts manning up on the Lion. Sadly, you know, no detection in time. Buyback on Dawn, he comes back in. So both teams, like you can see like how much they value these buybacks, because when you're really far behind, you need to take a calculated risk but play it properly. Like LGD are taking a risk here with 30,000 gold down, but they know that they can keep firing buybacks to keep the fight going, and T1 kinda know the same. But what I'm saying is that if any of these heroes, after this happens, die, it puts them in a really weird spot. That's why what you're gonna see after all the people bought back is gonna be very timid, like here. You know, these guys, they're all kind of chilling. They're like, oh, we bought back. We don't really want to go. Here they poke a bit, but they're going to start backing off. They kill this guy. He buys back. And now it's like, okay, guys, we need to chill. Everyone has bought back. And even though there's a 30k lead on this dire team, you can see how weird and hard it is for them to currently play this game, simply because LGD made it really, really, really hard for them. And let's see how the rest of the game pans out. So no team has buyback. So eventually, both teams are going to play safe until one is going to man up and make the more aggro play. So T1 going to smoke in here, take over the area, and you can bet that nobody here wants to play aggressive. Next fight is going to be about Roshan. They play it very nicely with the snap ulti from afar. Doom is here. They tank it up a bit. Bam, some Echo Slam comes into the pit. 36k gold lead for Dire. So here they use their spells from afar. Faith Beyond goes around, gonna jump in with his axe, has Echo Slam available, kills. Carl barely gets the refresher shard, he BKBs again, you know there's a lot of chaos going on. Dawnbreaker does actually die back, so does Shaker now. And now just look what happens when you buy back and die after. The game becomes very weird. So now, luckily for both teams, you know, only one of their dudes died. But if we look at the follow-up fight, which I think is very soon, So here you have like another fight in the base. As soon as this TB dies, the game's just over. The hard carry now died without buyback, and literally like that, it's over. The same thing is if LGD somehow managed to take this fight and kill Medusa, they will probably just win the game. Because even though they're 40k gold ahead, Medusa would die without buyback, and it would create a 5-on-4 scenario where unless T1 somehow get a clutch kill, without LGD trading back, the game just ends. Like even though you're super far behind or super far ahead, having buybacks and using buybacks wisely can be a very big deal. Like if you're 20k gold behind, but the enemy team really needs Aegis in order to win the game, and you take a fight, okay? You take a fight, you use two buybacks, or at least two support buybacks. You go even in the fight, but you get Aegis for your carry, and you take it away from their like Templar Assassin, that's a huge deal. Like buybacks is something that has to be heavily abused against heroes such as Doom, Tidehunter, Magnus, like high cooldown heroes, or heroes that really rely on Aegis. There's a lot of carries that need Aegis more than others. You have like your Ursas, your TAs, these Shadow Fiends. These heroes really need Aegis. Where some other heroes like Spectre and so on, they don't need Aegis that badly. Look so Snapfire regens and TP's mid. Why does he TP middle? He's not even refilling his bottle. The reason he's TPing mid is because they have such a strong timing around nighttime, and the first hero in the game getting an ultimate. When you play support or core, or generally speaking, when you're playing Dota, you want to play through your strong heroes. In this case, DP is currently the strongest hero on the map, so it makes a lot of sense for them to go mid and like help here. So what he does with his little shredder is that he staggers the minus armor as nicely as he can. I mean, he screwed up the last one, I think. You take a fight, you use two buybacks, or at least two support buybacks. You go even in the fight, but you get Aegis for your carry, and you take it away from their like Templar Assassin, that's a huge deal. Like buybacks is something that has to be heavily abused against heroes such as Doom, Tidehunter, Magnus, like high cooldown heroes, or heroes that really rely on Aegis. There's a lot of carries that need Aegis more than others. You have like your Ursas, your TAs, these Shadow Fiends. These heroes really need Aegis. So I hope that I think this is just a fun game to show you where there's like 10 buybacks, you see like some cool stuff in the early game, etc. It's just some good stuff to see and to put a different perspective, to show you guys a different perspective about like buybacks, how they're used, why are they valued so highly, and so forth. So with that said, if you guys enjoy the content, leave a like down below, give the video a thumbs up. Shout out to my boys, as you can see them up here. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.